want to talk about knowing of anyone's character being attacked, and how did you defend it?
I really love. I have grown to really love these two brothers. Does anyone know where I'm going?
The Wayans brothers.
No, I love them
Uh,
too, but
Oh.
no.
Is there only two brothers?
It's only,
Two brothers.
well, I think they may have. They could have another famous brother. I don't know,
What,
but
those
these
PCH brothers?
Jake Paul and
Oh my God, Logan
I
Paul.
I so
God, I want there to be a normal brother so bad.
no I used to like I'm like everybody like everybody hates them because they're trolls, and but the reality is
That's
like
what
when
they
you,
want, though.
but if you think about the cancel, like everything's getting canceled, they're fighting. They're almost having to be like they have to persevere through that, right? Where you just have to accept like this is the way I am, and like, but that's not the way they are. But they're fighting, so like they're to be, like if you think about it, if you go back like 20 years, they wouldn't have been famous because their style, what people were allowed to be more open, right, about things.
Mhm.
But they've now are like people are so sensitive and so corrective, and they cancel you out that they're just like I'm gonna go hardcore at you and just do what troll you to a point, and that's what they do. And like, what's funny is they're so hardworking that they somehow get into conversations that they're business geniuses, like how they get into certain
Yeah,
situations and like.
I think it's all bit, dude. Honestly,
But
all
it's
strategic
amazing.
business moves.
That's what's
'Cause
crazy.
if
Is
you
like
can't beat them, join them, and that's exactly what they did. Is like
yeah.
if you're gonna be the meme, then just own it. That's what they've done. They're
And-
brilliant, dude.
It's trippy to me because like there was a one, and I don't think this got that famous, or maybe it did, but I was watching it and it wasn't big. It wasn't a big video. It wasn't even on. It was on like YouTube, and it was on somebody else's account, and they go up to like Jake Paul, and he's like, so what are you gonna do with all this money that he had like recently won? And he's like, oh, I'm gonna spend it on depreciating assets. And he made that joke, and I was like, damn, like most people don't even think that way. Like if you even said depreciative assets, they would have been like what does that mean?
That's
You
kind of
know?
like trolling everybody who goes out there and is like, I'm gonna buy a
Yeah.
car, or I'm like,
Yeah, and
you know,
he's
like
mocking.
that's
you
essentially
know, like
depreciation asset. But people go buy a brand new Porsche or Ferrari, or they're like, oh, I'm buying my mom like a Mercedes, and it's like, oh, okay, like that's great, but yeah, like I think that's a
I just loved
that's an
his
interesting
response.
like, way
Yeah.
of thought.
Well, it's like he's trolling. He's almost trolling a lot of people by responding that way. But then the funny part is, there's a lot of people that probably hate him that are maybe probably dumber than him,
Yeah.
and and then
But
the
they
reality.
think he's dumber.
Yeah, but then
Yeah.
then he says that, and they're like, wait, what does that mean? And now that kind of just rocked their world that like he said something that they don't understand.
Because
and
they're like,
It's like-
they're like,
Exact
if
same
I
thing.
if I had 150 million dollars for fighting, I'd get a Mercedes, a nice
Well, yeah,
Porsche.
well,
Well,
he
it's
said the
more.
exact
It's
same
more
thing.
of like. It's
Yeah.
more of like they watched him. They're like, him. It's like, oh, I hate Jake Paul because he's a troll. Like he's just like he's just to himself like this because everybody else doesn't like him because of that way, right? And he's like trollish. But then the guy asked him, he's like, what do what are you going to spend your winnings on? He's like, depreciating assets. Those same people that are like, oh, that guy's stupid. Like the same people that like hate him from home and are like, he's really stupid and think he's really stupid. We're sitting there for a second and be like, I don't know what that actually means.
Mm-hmm.
And they just got humbled like in 2 seconds, and he just humbled them.
Yeah.
And people like wouldn't ever talk about that. And I don't know. I saw it, but I've watched them in a lot of other conversations, and I'm like, they're not dumb guys. Like they're both wrestlers.
Everything they
like
do is like a business move. In my,
it
in my
is
eyes.
like
So,
in
yeah,
I-
they're definitely
they
4D
both
chess.
moved out of California, and they
Yeah.
talked about it too. And they said like they're like, dude, this tax ain't it. That's all they said. And they said it, but then they went off and did something stupid in the video.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, man, like, maybe they're actually gonna change and help people think about business better.
Possibly.
It's like, and that's make better budget decisions, right, with their money. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're horrible with their money, but
I mean,
that
that could be
like
the best way to influence like the youth culture is like, you join them, but at the same time you throw in these like little nuggets of like knowledge.
yeah,
But
yeah, where they
you
can
have
collect
to,
it.
You have to dumb it down to like their level, you know.
Yeah, like even just saying one word like at a time could even or one part of like budgeting or one part of accounting or investing or anything could be that. And I don't know that I hear them get ragged on so much, and online people destroy them, but I really cheer them on now.
Yeah.
I just was like, I
mean, you
love
can't
watching
talk
the
shit on them.
It's
I
hard
mean,
to talk shit on them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they do business well. They fucking can do boxing well, and like that, people don't know like how much work that takes. And,
yeah,
like,
seriously,
you know,
to jump into that,
experience.
yeah,
Yeah, and
they're
and to
fearless,
go
yeah.
all those rounds with Mayweather, like even
yeah.
though he's like super old now, but like still, that is like people don't know how
And
big of
30
an
pounds
accomplishment.
lighter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
yeah, but still like a class like A plus class boxer like
Yeah, just
his
stepping around. Yeah.
fists are lethal weapons. Like, but you sparred in the ring with him like for all those like dude, that's respect.
Did you
Yeah.
see that he like knocked him out and like
Yeah.
held him up?
Held
Yeah.
up.
Yeah, it's definitely but business though. It goes back to the whole like
Yeah.
they both, and that's what Mayweather
Why
is
do you
too.
think?
Like,
Yeah, why? I mean, Mayweather had almost everything to lose in that case. Like if he lost that match.
Yeah.
But who gives a fuck? Like I think Mayweather sees it now as like he's making money. Fuck the haters.
I made
Yeah,
150 million dollars.
I have
Yeah.
nothing to prove anymore.
And that's
Yeah.
kind of like I think Mayweather started that. There might have been more people like further on down the road that the troll trend, but like it's weird. The troll trend with the Jake and Logan brothers, or I'm sorry, the Paul brothers, is that like I think when people see them, they're like, oh, white suburbia kind of kids, like very spoiled, like like very spoiled like kids where the mommy and daddy give them a lot, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like they just own that. They just own that. Like it,
Yeah.
it's like if you're gonna claim me that as that, I'm going to just live as that. And like there's something about that I like not admire, but I respect it. And it's like so I just there's a couple times when people are like ragging on them, like how stupid they are, and I'm like chiming in about like what I think about them, and people are like, is Max an idiot?
Yeah.
Or like
some of
They're
those
definitely
people
playing
are
4D chess. Like they know what's
Oh,
going
absolutely.
Yeah,
Well,
that's-
some of
and-
those people ragging on him were the same ones that paid $50 to watch their pay.
yeah, they go.
on. Yeah.
Like I was
Oh
listening
my
to
God.
ESPN radio after the fight. It was on I think it was on Monday or Tuesday when I was driving around,
Yeah.
and they're talking about. I still have my like gripe with Floyd Mayweather, the fact that without knowing too much about the boxing world, but it always seems like he got to pick his next opponent in some cases, and basically pick somebody that everybody knew he basically beat the shit out of.
So it's
and
like
he would
Rocky
get the
3.
decision. It's like just to stay undefeated.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, I'll pick this guy, even though that like someone who's better would be a more interesting fight, and they want me to see him. But like, I'll pick the dude that I know I can beat because I want to retire undefeated. And it's like that to me is like, it's smart money wise, but there's like the competitive side of me that's like that's chicken shit as well. That you're like knowingly picking on opponents that like
I would
it can't
thrive
beat
off
you.
of that though, being the
So-
underdog in that case.
But yeah, I feel like you pick someone that's like not that good though. And
But
you're
I
like,
would step
and you're
up
like,
to that
oh, I'll get
challenge
the
if he
decision
picked
because I'm
me.
Floyd Mayweather as well. Like
Yeah, I guess.
that
Well, it's
versus someone else. But it's like he usually would beat him because he had a great tactic. Like he had great
Yeah, run away.
strategy.
Yeah.
Yeah, he'd run away for a while and then he'd start hitting you, and it's like okay, but
It's just too bad no one stepped up to that plate, you know?
It's like
They
that
just took-
Mexican boxer that
Canelo.
no,
Oh,
the chubby one, Anthony Garcia.
oh yeah.
He
But they're go ahead.
he was like a real life Rocky, where like the content or the challenger to the title
Mhm.
had to bow out, and then he was just a fill-in, and he won the title.
Whoa, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
But that smart move, like so we're talking about like how the Paul brothers, like yeah, they made their money. They made money.
Yeah.
But Floyd really cleaned up. And one of the things that I saw, so what I had heard was I think Floyd was guaranteed $25 million and 50% of the pay-per-view sales. The Logan was the brother fought, right? Logan Paul
Mm-hmm.
got $10 million and like 10% of the pay-per-view sales.
That's so crazy high.
And I'm like, that's a shit ton of less money less because I'm like, let's just say, they made $100 million in pay-per-view. Like, Floyd just made $75 million. Whatever. I don't even know
Well,
the final numbers.
Floyd made out with 150.
Okay, so Floyd made $150 million for fighting in a fight that he technically couldn't lose because there was no winner announced at the end. It was an exhibition fight.
Mm-hmm.
Knockouts were legal, but there was no winner loser no matter who got knocked out. And
That's
how
why
many
like
times.
that. Did you ever see the Paul,
Which is
the Paul
also the
brothers?
part- What?
The Paul brothers because of that they were posting I won.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
like
also
they were
like
like
how he got the "I got your hat" tattoo, or he got your hat. Like he got
He
that
got a
tattooed
hat
on him.
tattoo. And
Yeah.
it says, I got your hat.
Yeah, he got
that
that tattooed.
was
Jake.
Jake Paul did that.
Yeah,
That's
or,
pretty funny.
Yeah, Jigger, like whoever said that. But I'm like, they still made money, and I'm like, that was a smart financial decision. They took a lot less. It got hyped up so much, and even though they took a sliver of her percentage, they still made out like he still made out like bandits in terms of like money. But like that whole like I'm gonna like buy depreciating assets. He said the exact same thing as anybody who said I'm gonna go buy a truck, a car, a
Yeah,
boat,
pretty
like
much.
any of that stuff. He just said the exact same thing, except for he just used a more savvy term for it that nobody else ever would have like attributed to that item in which they think that they're gonna go buy, unless they were gonna go buy, you know, real estate or something. But it's like people are like, oh, I get this brand new thing. Yeah, I don't think about that. Like I think that's an awesome point to bring up, that they think differently,
Mm-hmm.
or they're thinking at least enough to like to like shed the light on something in a different manner. Like, how many of us look at our new car we get as a depreciating asset? We would usually see, this is my brand new fucking car, and it's awesome. It's clean. It is this and that. They're like, you know, the paint's awesome. I love the new lights. I love the display on the dash and everything. We don't think about, well, this thing's worth about half as much as what it was when before I got in this car.